Dave, welcome.
Oh my God, we made it.
We made it.
Wow,
Welcome to Thursday Treat. How you feeling?
Feeling great. What a journey.
You look
It's
fantastic.
been a journey to get here. So, dear listeners, we were meant to start recording about 35 minutes ago, but I realised 5 minutes before the record that I was getting hangry. So I went and got a toasty that took 20 minutes to make, and it was worth it. It was really yummy, and I'll be a much better person now.
She's going to be real friendly.
I'm going to be really nice.
Real affable.
That's right. Welcome to Not Another Crime podcast, our Thursday treat. Listeners, you've heard us talk about this person many times before.
Always flapping our lips about this goddamn person.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Want to be talked about on a true crime podcast?
Yeah.
I know a guy that's done some shit.
Oh, he's done some shit. Also, thanks for listening.
I've listened heaps.
Yeah.
I've never heard myself mentioned.
Well, we would have
you've been
mentioned you
mentioned.
when you guys did your show together.
Yeah, we've been talking about the show that we did together.
that makes sense.
Where I think our tech might have done some serious crimes in his life.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a dodgy guy, Rod.
So for everyone
I'm going to
listening,
say which one. 'cause
Which one?
they
I
were
know.
all pretty bad.
We've had some weird texts
Yes,
in our
they're
time.
interesting characters.
Yeah,
takes off.
absolutely.
Today we have the titular character from the comedy show Dave Warneke dates the entire audience. It is
The audience.
the one and only audience.
Welcome, audience.
It's Dave Warneke.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining
Can
us,
I just
Dave
say the
Warneke.
Thursday treat is all mine?
Oh, it's
Oh.
all yours. Thank you so much.
My
I didn't mean
toasty
to
was
agree with you there. That was really rude of me.
Yeah,
it is all yours.
It is yours.
Not mine.
I've had my treat, my toasty already.
Your beautiful
and now,
toasty.
Now the treat is having you. And even though I put them in an order that might sound offensive, there is a little rule I like to call first the worst, second the best.
Oh, thank you.
That is a great rule. That
Yeah,
is a
so
great
you're the
rule.
best
Save
treat
the best for
of the
last.
day.
Yeah. Best treat. What a treat he is.
Yeah, I'm the dessert
You are the dessert.
for your sandwich.
Now, you have a podcast called
Very
Do
cocky
Go On.
this morning.
Yeah, you are. You have a great podcast called Do Go On, and every week you take it in turn. So you go with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart, and you guys prepare a report every week, which is why I felt so bad asking Dave to bring a story
Yeah,
today.
do another one.
Do another one, please.
And then we'll make you wait as we set everything up and Georgia devours
And
a
eat a
toasty
toasty in front of you.
corner.
Oh, man, I'm used to it. We've got no idea what we're doing with the text stuff. So.
It's a lot. It doesn't get easier. It doesn't get better.
Yeah, no.
You think it would after so many years of podcasting, but it will get easier to set up.
Well, we're thankful to record at Stupid Old Studios where Evan, who's in charge of all the tech stuff there.
Diggs just sneezed so loudly
It
was
that he hit
incredible.
his head.
I know. You right there, boy?
Oh, the big buddy? Oh, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. Well, we also record in Stupid Old Studios, but that is not the place called Stupid Old Studios. This is just our own Stupid Old
We
Studio.
made our own
We've set
Stupid
up
Old
in
Studio.
Sammy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have Evan to call up when things go wrong. That's what
No,
we
that's
do.
true.
Yeah, that's what's
yeah.
stupid about it.
Hello, Evan, please.
We've only
help.
got Diggs and he'll knock himself out when he sneezes. That's right. Now, what is your interest with true crime? You would have done a lot of stories on Do Go On about true crime.
on Do
over
Go On.
years.
So we're sort of like, anything from history. So
Yeah.
often it has been a true crime thing, like a Jack the Ripper or
Yeah.
the Burke and Hare murders.
Yeah,
Not sure if you guys
Yes,
have covered
yes.
that.
No, we haven't,
haven't.
but it's on my list to do because,
And
Scottish, right?
yes, absolutely Scottish. And once
Sinead told me about it.
in Edinburgh, you can go and see one of the. I don't want to do too many spoilers on
Hey,
the
you can do
topic,
some
but
spoilers.
it's a long, long time ago, so you can expect that the people involved are dead. And
Yes.
Right.
when one of them died, they turned him into a skin book.
Sorry? Oh,
As in, they used his skin to cover and bind a book.
Oh my
hey, look,
God.
this has been lovely, but we're going to have to leave it here. Can you get out?
She's just eaten.
What the fuck?
Literally 30 seconds before we started recording, she just finished her
Eating. I'm going
sandwich.
to spew it up on you.
And we were once in Edinburgh, and we thought it would, because it's at this medical museum. You can go see
Oh
this
my
book,
God.
and we thought it would be a bit of a laugh to see this book. But of course, when you confront it with it, you're like, this is actually
skin.
That's really disturbing.
full on and not as fun as we thought it would be.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
full on.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Did it look a bit like ham?
It looked just like an old leather book.
Yeah, right. Very old.
But
leather
if you
book.
know what it is, and you're like, that's pretty gross.
Oh, really gross. Pretty
Yeah.
is an understatement there. It's someone's skin over a book.
Oh, my God.
Oh
So that's
my
my
God.
relationship with true crime. I would track down a skin book.
Wow. Okay, he's serious.
What a mission.
Yeah.
This guy
What a
is
scavenger
serious.
hunt for you and you alone. Now, Dave, we don't want to join you on that scavenger hunt, but we do want to join you on a story that you brought today. And I haven't heard of this story before. You messaged me to tell me what it was, and Georgia has no idea what it is. So,
Oh, right, yes, I said to Sam, is this appropriate? Because I know on the Thursday treat you often do a scam, you do
Yeah.
a bit of a fraud, something that's a bit possibly lighter.
yeah. See, listen.
Lighter on, yeah, but But this isn't that light, to be honest. But the title of the crime at hand was so intriguing.
Yeah.
Like, I've thought about it a lot over the years. I'm like, I've got to talk about this sometime.
Yeah.
And today I want to tell you about the onion pie murder.
Oh!
Hang on, and you're a real pie guy.
Oh, he's a pie guy from
Yes,
way back.
love
Please tell
pie.
us about your relationship with pies.
Well, I love pies.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
the
much.
story then.
No, I've been eating pies for a long, long time, and have been my favourite food for a long, long time.
They have.
And I've been documenting my eating of pies for over 10 years on Instagram. That's basically all I post on Instagram,
Yeah.
apart from plugs for our comedy shows.
Yeah.
Photos of me eating pies around the world.
Yeah.
And I've eaten them on 5 continents at this point.
Oh my god!
So far,
isn't it?
have not been to Antarctica or South America, but we'll
But
get
when
there.
To
you
eat a
do,
pie.
Yeah, when I get there,
You're going to take our old 4 and 20.
yeah, 4 and 20 penguin pie.
Oh,
There was a place
once again, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Yeah, as a Phillip Islander, how dare you?
Yeah, so sorry.
When Dave and I were in, it would have been 10 years ago in Perth. Well, what would be 10 years ago, actually?
Yeah.
Because our show that we did together was 10 years ago. When we were in Perth together, we went to this cafe every day called the Tuck Shop.
So
and
good.
They had
Great name.
really good pies there, like really good pies. And during that, we were there for a week or two, and we go every day. We go every single day.
It was
and
just around the corner. And
Just around the corner.
The pies were so good.
And then I went back to do my own show over there. Like it was a sketch show, and I went over there by myself without Dave. And I went to this tuck shop 3 years later, and the lady goes, "Where have you been?"
Stop! Oh my god, I love that
Yeah,
so
isn't that
much.
great? Yeah, where have you been? Because we went every day.
And then you just
Then
stopped
we
one
stopped
day.
for only 1 week, and then 3 years later, where have you been?
That's great. Dave, what's the best pie you've ever had? Do you remember?
Oh, best pie. I've got my nostalgic favourite is I went to school in Warrandyte, and we would often go to the Warrandyte Bakery, which is wood-fired on the Yarra River.
Yeah.
And the steak and onion pie there. Oh. Fantastic.
One of the greats. What a great shout out for them.
Yeah, I love it.
If you're ever that way,
Yeah.
treat yourself to a lovely pie.
And I've actually been invited to go to lunch at the Warrandyte pub tomorrow to catch up with some old schoolmates.
Oh,
Okay.
this is huge.
But the problem is the pub is opposite the bakery, and I don't know, like, should I just not fill up on lunch and then get a pie afterwards?
Yeah. Oh my God,
That'd
this
be
is
so
stressful.
close.
Actually,
Yeah.
well, I've told Dave about the pie at Donovan's.
I was going to talk
Yeah.
about
Oh,
the pie.
please talk
Have
about
you
it,
had the
please.
chicken pie at Donovan?
I haven't.
Oh my God, Dave! For
You're
the
gonna
third
lose your
time, I'm
mind.
going to have to ask you to leave
And go to Donovan.
and go straight to Donovan's. So. You know when like you kind of play the game with your friends, like what would be your death row meal or your dream meal?
Yes.
Mine has always been my favourite dish that I've ever, it's certainly the best dish in Melbourne, potentially my favourite dish in the world, is the chicken pie from Donovan's in St Kilda.
Really?
It's incredible.
It is incredible. Now, chicken, okay,
Hey,
Dave's
Dix.
just going to let himself through.
You're
Middle of the
talking
report.
about pies for a bit.
Hang on. So it is, Donovan's is like a beautiful fancy restaurant, but it's set up to look and feel like you're in someone's living room, but it's like
There's a guy watching TV.
Yeah.
Is that Donovan?
Yeah, it's Donovan himself, Jason Donovan. And Casey. She's there too.
Casey as well, his daughter, famous. It comes out, it's like a pot pie. Well, it is a pot pie. And then the pastry lid goes kind of over the top and down the sides. So then they bring it to your table. They lift the lid off and turn it upside down and place it on the plate. So it is a bowl. And then they scoop the innards of the pie out of the pot and into the
Don't call them
pastry
innards
bowl.
while they're standing in front of you.
It's a true crime
you like the
podcast.
innards?
Come on. And it is tarragony and buttery and creamy. And it's got the
Wow.
most beautifully cooked chicken and veggies and stuff all through it.
We're gonna go there.
Are they open on a
my
Saturday?
God.
They're open every damn day. Let me tell you that much.
Don't know if that's true. We'll have to look
They're
that
open
up, but
every day. It's someone's living room. They're always open.
said It is incredible.
It's so good. Yeah,
Oh
you
my
would love
gosh.
it. You would love it. Absolutely.
It's all I can think about now.
I know. You've got the look on your face has genuinely
Your eyes have lit up.
changed.
Sounds so great. Oh my gosh.
Well, Dave Warneke, you need to tell us today about this onion pie murder.
Yes. So you know I love a pie, but sometimes pies kill. So
What a great warning for all our listeners.
bit of levity at the top here. Okay. So our story takes place on Christmas Eve, 1851. So this can also be your Christmas special if you like.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll wait a couple of months.
You
Or
say when
Christmas
I'm
in
doing-
July.
Oh, Christmas in July-ish.
Oh,
Happy
come
Christmas
on,
in
this
July-ish,
guy's
everyone.
good.
He's a pro.
Christmas Eve, 1851, in Chidingley, East Sussex, over in England. Sarah Ann French had been married to William French for 7 years.
Oh, beautiful marriage.
Was she itchy?
7-year itch. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Foreshadowing.
28-year-old Sarah Ann was a housewife, and she was 7 years younger than her husband William, who worked as a labourer.
Oh.
And on Christmas Eve, Sarah Ann served William a special meal, an onion pie.
Okay. Look, I'm going to say up top here for our listeners, by the time this episode comes out, the Morwell mushroom murder trial may have a verdict.
Yes, yes.
At the time of recording, there is one more day of the hearing to go before the jury is retired to deliberate. So we cannot and will not draw comparisons for legal reasons and because we don't know whether she is guilty or not. But what I will say, because this is on the public record, it was said in court, she said she wanted to invite her former in-laws over for a, quote, special meal.
Oh my
And
god.
that's what
Special
you just
meal.
said.
Yes. And she went
Just a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
An alleged. Did I get away with that, Georgia?
Yes.
This is 170 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ages ago.
Oh, that's ages.
It's ages.
So that morning, Sarah French had told her husband's co-worker, a guy called William Funnell, that this was a rarity in their household and it was, in fact, William's favourite meal. Oh, so it's a special treat on Christmas Eve, the cheese pie. Sorry, not cheese pie, onion pie.
Have you ever had an onion pie before?
Yeah, because usually it's cheese and onion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
no meat, just
Yeah, just
Yeah,
cheese and
often
onion.
just cheese and onion. That's what I've had
Sloppy
anyway.
pie.
In the UK, the fantastic takeaway chain Greggs. Have you
With two G's.
Two Greggs. They do what they call bakes, which is basically halfway between a pie and a pasty.
Right.
Very easy to eat on the go, and I love their cheese and onion bake.
Oh,
Great shout out. Dave loves a Bowcastle as well.
Oh, I love those.
a non-meat pie that is right up the top of my list of favourite pies as well was a now defunct bakery in Salamanca in Hobart. It was 24-hour bakery.
Oh, I love
and
those.
Salamanca is where all like the bars and nightclubs were open late. So when I was living down there, we would be going out and dancing at Cargo or Grape, and my best friend Steph and I would have a moment on the dance floor where we'd just look like we'd lock eyes and just nod, and we'd sneak out across the road, go and get a cauliflower and cheese pie,
Yum.
and then go back to dancing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Phillip Island's famous for their cauliflower and cheese pie as well.
Oh my
Now it's
God.
called I think they changed it. They called it the Liam Hemsworth pie or something like that.
Right.
Because of those, he's got the cauliflower ears.
You got a cauliflower look about it.
Brutal. Brutal.
Famously unattractive man.
So according to the Argus newspaper, William went to work. This is the day after. So he's gone to work on Christmas
Christmas
Day.
Day.
Wow.
That's right. And he
Was it Santa?
Yeah.
Oh
This is
my
Santa.
That makes way
God.
more sense.
Oh, you've ruined the
I've
twist
ruined the
at the
twist. Sorry
end.
about that,
Very
Dave.
big job.
Sorry about that, Dave.
He's a labourer. He's
Very
an
big
elf.
job.
He began to feel sick. Co-workers saw him vomiting onto the floor.
Oh.
But he kept working
Oh.
over the days, feeling quite ill this whole time until January 5.
Oh.
So a fair bit later, when Mrs. French, his wife, stuck her head out the window of their house and told one of their husband's colleagues that he was too ill to work.
Oh, wow.
He must have
Okay.
been seriously ill.
Yeah.
And he was very ill because 2 days later, he was dead.
That is very ill. It's the most ill you can be.
Yeah.
Wow.
On that same day, when he passed, William's brother John had visited to console Sarah. He looked very natural, he later said, but was, quote, swollen on each side of his throat.
Oh.
What?
So he's
Each
So he
side.
looked normal, except that he had big growths on his neck.
like a massive neck, like a bodybuilder or something.
I'm not sure I'd ever describe that as natural.
Completely
Everything else,
natural.
Completely natural.
Everything else.
Bizarre story.
The brother also said, Mrs. French appeared to be agitated. She said that he had been unaccountably sick.
Oh.
She's like, I've got no idea what's going on. Why is he
Yeah.
so sick?
It's like, what, 10 days?
Yeah, really ill for a long
Yeah.
time and just
11.
got worse and worse and worse.
Okay, Brainiac over here.
No, it's until the 5th. I think 12. Look, on this podcast before, I did a maths. I don't even know what the word is. Equation, and I counted out on my fingers out loud on the podcast, and then when it was published, my sister messaged me and said that was still the wrong.
That was still wrong.
Still the wrong answer.
You've skipped a finger.
Oh,
or
no, my fingers have lied. I don't have 5 fingers after all. It's the first time I found this out. I'm a Simpson. I've got 4. One of them Simpsons.
But I can never remember if the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas or if it finishes on Christmas. So if it starts on Christmas, he's dead by the end of the 12 days, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, hopefully your sister will message you.
Katie, let me know
how wrong I was.
So on January 17th, so he's a pretty young guy that he's died in his 30s. And so an inquest was held in the Gun Inn, like a local pub, which is so great.
Great name.
Coronial inquest.
The Gun Inn.
A jury confirmed the suspicions. Actually denied the suspicions because they declared William had died of natural causes. They'd been like, I guess it's a bit suspicious, but this is 1850s.
Yeah.
Some people did get sick and sometimes just die. So
and like John said, he looked natural.
he looked natural.
Don't look at the neck.
Apart from his fat neck. So case closed. Or was it?
Oh.
Because some
See,
rumors...
how good is he? Does this stuff?
He's really good.
Some rumours had started spreading that he had in fact been poisoned with arsenic.
Oh.
You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
Chicago.
I'm making... Oh, you got it!
I'm getting better. I'm getting better at
Nice.
guessing. Yes.
Oh, my God. I'm going to need a moment. That was really good. Slipping off my chair.
I had
over
nothing.
here.
That was
Just telling
great.
you. I'm just telling you what the references are.
Sorry, she's doing a musical thing again.
Superintendent James Flanagan, one of the local constabulary, also felt something was wrong. He started sniffing around and heard from William's co-worker, that guy William Funnell, that I talked about before, that William claimed the onion pie had, quote, interrupted his inside.
Oh, yuck.
Sounds nasty. But
Yeah.
he was immediately drawing an arrow between how he was feeling and what he'd eaten.
Yeah,
I feel so sick. It must have been that onion pie. So now he's told the cop that. So on January 28, 11 days after William's death had been ruled as natural, Superintendent Flanagan paid Mrs. French, the widow, a visit to ask her some questions.
Was she wearing one of those robes with fur around the sleeves? You know, like my husband died under mysterious circumstances.
And one of those really long cigarettes.
Yeah, detective, I know nothing about it.
Sure, she denied ever buying arsenic when he asked her about this.
That's good
She's
stuff.
like, "Oh, never had arsenic." And said if her husband had been poisoned, he would have done it himself as he was worried about incoming bills.
Oh.
So that was her excuse.
Poisoned himself with
well,
arsenic.
if it was arsenic, it wasn't me. It must have been given. He must have given it to himself.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
just
sure.
died slowly over 12 days.
That's right.
Easy way to
Famously
go.
great way to
Awful
go.
way to go.
He died doing what he loved.
Eating it under pie.
But Superintendent Flanagan was not convinced, and he arrested her.
Oh, my God.
The next day after her arrest, she was hauled in front of a jury at a second inquest, this time at the Six Bells pub.
Shut up. This is so good.
So that's during the
Amazing
local,
names, yeah.
the local establishments.
Because what was it, 1851, did you say?
1951, yeah.
I wasn't even alive then, I don't think.
I'll do the maths on your finger. Count it out. Count it out.
A lot of pubs in the UK are so old that these probably still stand there.
Yeah,
today. You could probably
yeah,
go and
yeah.
have a drink at the Six Bells pub. And it was reported on by the Sussex Express. As witnesses testified, they seemed to support Mrs. French's account of events. That was until Naomi Crowhurst, a farmer's wife, took to the witness box. She claimed Mrs. French had bought 2 pence worth of arsenic from her servant.
Oh, my God. From a servant.
Yeah.
Everything about
Wow.
this story is great.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Except for the murder.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Except the murder. But
Except
the
the
pie.
murder.
The pie. Very interesting.
On the day of Mr. French's death, Mrs. French insisted to a police officer that she had never seen Mrs. Crowhurst before. She's like, I didn't even know that woman.
Nor her servant.
But the farmer's wife testified, I believe the prisoner is the same woman I sold arsenic to. By the servant.
Oh, servant.
So she's like, no, it's definitely that's the woman. It's her.
Yeah.
Why did the servant have arsenic that she was selling? Now, hang on.
Could have a
What
side
is
hustle.
arsenic apart from a poison?
Well,
Why does it exist?
Well, what do you use it for?
It's an element.
Okay.
It's on the periodic table. I believe it occurs naturally, but then you can use it for agricultural purposes. There's a bunch of different purposes, but like maybe...
Like weeds and stuff? Are you putting
yeah, and then like a
arsenic on?
synthesized version is very, very poisonous. And you can
Right.
kill weeds.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
So the servant selling her arsenic isn't, like in my head immediately I'm going, that's to poison
That's
someone.
sus. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
right.
but apparently it was also used very much at the time for killing mice. So if you had a mice infestation...
I'll just get the Pied Piper out.
Yeah.
It was back
That's what
then.
he uses.
Yeah.
Cut out the middleman.
So samples of William's stomach and intestine were sent for further testing. I couldn't work it out. He was possibly... they might have dug him up. Because they'd already done the inquest, but I don't know, because they didn't think it was that sus. They hadn't done the full autopsy, I don't believe. But they got the stomach, the intestine, they sent it for testing, and Dr. Taylor gave evidence of finding arsenic in the samples.
Oh, wow.
And this is like obviously a long time later, if it was from this pie that we're talking about.
Quite incredible in 1851 they could do that as well. Like the testing and everything. That's yeah. Was it because DNA wasn't around then, was it?
They didn't have courtrooms, but they had
pubs. Everyone was sloshed.
I would like to just say on the record when I said they didn't have DNA then, was it? That was meant to be a joke. That wasn't me. Just if someone writes in and goes, "How dumb are you?"
Literally in the last episode, I think we were talking about how amazing it was that in that like 1980s, they still didn't have DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
So the case was mounting against Sarah French.
Oh, Sarah.
Things started to look even worse when a 20-year-old labourer named James Hickman, which I imagine is a real stud.
Elf. Yes.
He's an elf.
One of the elves.
I was thinking he was a real stud, but okay. One of the stud elves.
One of the stud elves.
There's got to be, like in
stud
every
elf.
group, one is a stud.
It's a stud one. And if it ain't two of your friends, it's you.
So he took to the stand and gave some damning evidence. He was the son of a co-worker of the deceased person, William French. He had originally been courting Mrs. French's sister, Jane Piper.
The Pied Piper.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
The Pied Piper.
The Pied Piper. Oh, sorry, you just said that.
Yes, exactly.
So he'd been initially going after Jane Piper, chatting to her a lot, but neighbours indicated that Hickman was often seen at the French home. William supposedly even complained to his wife several times about this young man, Hickman's frequent visits. So whilst William's off at work, Sarah Ann is often having this man come around to her place.
Oh my God.
James Hickman was called to the witness stand, and this is what he said. He said, "I used to court her sister Jane. That was the reason I went to her house. I remember being at the house one day when French was away, as in William French, about a month before Christmas. She asked me to sit on her knee. I said I would not.
It was Santa.
Santa, sit on my knee. Wow, it's all
This
coming
whole
together.
time.
She asked why. I said, because you are married. She said, would you if I was not married?
Oh.
I replied, yes. She told me she loved me.
Oh.
She gave me a ring to keep in remembrance of her about a week before Christmas.
Oh,
wow.
Sarah Ann.
Oh my
Sarah, you
gosh.
devil.
So he's coming around more and more. The
course he is.
neighbours are visiting, and she's like, "Well, if I wasn't married, there'd be no reason for you to not sit on my knee."
I guess.
But
You
he-
put it like that.
She's learnt my pickup lines.
He continued, "I said there did not seem to be much likelihood of death in him about William, the husband." She replied, "If I knew as much as she did, I would think there was."
What? I don't understand.
So-
You gave us a real look like dun dun dun. We both went, huh?
Yeah, you both look so blank. I'm like, hang on, I've got to translate this old timey man here. So he's like basically being like, I said, there'd be no problem with me sitting on your knee if you weren't married.
Yeah.
But like, there's no likelihood of that because you're married to a young, healthy man kind of thing. And she replied, but if you knew what I did, if you knew, then you wouldn't be saying that.
Right.
That it seems
so quick to
unlikely.
talk.
She knows he gone die.
Yeah,
soon.
He knows he gone die
Yeah.
soon. That's a
Okay.
catchphrase on the podcast.
All right. Say this whole sentence again and we'll react accordingly.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
He continued, I said there did not seem to be much likelihood of death in him. She replied, if I knew as much as she did, I should think there was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Huge.
That's nuts.
Like the whole court/pub would have gone, oh my gosh.
A glass would have been dropped up the back.
Someone
Horse and
flipped the
carriage.
table.
See? Did you get that?
Yeah, I got
Instead
it.
of Uber or taxi. Or whatever
Very
they say.
good.
That's
Taxi.
great.
Thank you.
He also testified that she told him she was about to come into some money somehow.
Oh.
Possibly some sort of inheritance of a dead husband, for example.
For
Is that
example.
death
just
insurance
example.
then? Life insurance. Oh my God.
It's a death
insurance.
You shouldn't work at those companies.
If you call up and you're like, yeah, I'd like to get some death insurance.
I mean,
Against my
life
husband.
insurance.
Yeah, that's right. You'd be like, okay, you're going to ask a few follow-up questions here.
Your long cigarette going, darling, I don't know what you're talking about. I was never even there.
I've never even claimed the death insurance.
On the witness stand, he admitted that after William's death, the two had begun an intimate relationship. But he's like, but I didn't know nothing. I thought that he just happened to die, and I just came, and I was like, oh, I'll come around.
I'll come round, sit in your lap.
So weird.
He definitely said that not before and that he had no knowledge of her plan to murder him. Anyway, the jury at the inquest concluded Mrs. French had murdered her husband and she was then sent to Lewis prison to await a criminal trial. So back then, you have I guess it feels like a bit of a pre-trial, the inquest at the pub. And if your peers say...
If that goes well.
Yeah, I reckon.
That's the pre-sentence hearing.
Yeah, that's right.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's a case here. Let's send it to the actual prison and to the pub. So she's locked up. So again from the Argus, as she was dragged to her cell, she suffered hysterical fits.
Oh.
So she's not doing so well. By the time she was put on trial on March 19, the Sussex Express said she had lost all her colour.
Oh.
How's her neck looking?
Yeah.
Except her neck. Except her big old neck.
Juicy pink neck. That's right.
That's how the paper describes it.
But eyebrows were raised when Mrs. French's lawyers read out a statement she had written while imprisoned. She claimed that her lover, the hunky elf, Mr. Hickman, admitted he had poisoned Mr. French by placing arsenic on his plate during that Christmas Eve dinner and again in some gruel the day before his death. Oh. So she's turned on him and said, I didn't do it. He did it. He wanted to be with me.
That kind of does make more sense.
Yeah.
It's usually the man. Fucking man.
Yeah.
I've just looked around the room and realised I am outnumbered with this argument.
I'm happy to admit that that's often the case. In the criminal, well, not happy to admit, I'm just say
make that clear.
In the criminal court, the case was put forward that Sarah had murdered her husband by putting arsenic in the onion pie. So that was very much the case. They said it was the pie.
Yep.
Sarah's counsel, Mr. Rodwell, conceded that William's death had been caused by arsenic, but contended there was no proof that Sarah had administered it and that it could have just as likely have been administered by James Hickman, her lover, to remove William so that Sarah could marry him. So he's saying, okay, someone murdered him, but there's no evidence saying she did it.
Yeah.
Could have been him.
Exactly.
Could have been him.
Could have been him.
Could have been you, Judge. Her magistrate. Her magistrate.
The magistrate. I implore you to look at who it could be.
Judges love being accused.
They do. Where were you on that night? Her magistrate.
But Your Honour, to be fair, you weren't even there.
You don't know.
But the prosecution contended, they came back, they heard this and they said, it would make no difference, whatever in the result, whether the jury should be of opinion that the prisoner actually administered the poison by her own hand, whether she knew of it being administered by any other person, or whether she had counselled the person to administer it. Whether she'd said, advise someone, or even if she had any knowledge. They said, if therefore they should be of the opinion that Hickman, the man, had some hand in the affairs, or that he had even administered the poison, they should at the same time think that the prisoner knew of it beforehand, or she had the manner counselled him to commit the act, she would still, in the eye of the law, be guilty of the crime of murder. Basically,
that's true,
if he did it, she's
told him
she's
to.
involved
Yeah,
too.
Or
right.
known he
So
would.
she should still be found guilty.
But what if she didn't? What if he's gone and done it himself
Yes.
because
Yeah.
he wants her to? He wants to be with her.
They're trying to be like, as if.
As if, but
As if.
but she did say, if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't think he was so well. There was that damning. That damning thing she said before the death that we didn't understand.
No, we understood it by the edit.
Yeah, that's right. Seamless.
Yeah.
Capital Punishment UK writes, the jury retired for 2 hours before returning with a question. Whilst they accepted that William had been poisoned, so they were like, yes, we all agree it's arsenic, some of them thought that Sarah had done it, and some of them thought that Hickman, the boyfriend, had done it. Baron Park, who's in charge of the trial, it's so good, Baron Park. He explained to the jury that even if they thought Hickman had been the one who poisoned William, if they believed that the act was done with Sarah's knowledge or her convivence, that she was just as guilty as if she herself had killed William, and therefore the proper verdict was still guilty of willful murder.
Wow. Yeah, because people can be charged with murder for hiring a hitman.
Oh, true. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
It's still murder.
He's like, if you believe that, if you believe he'd done it without her, then I think you should find her not guilty. But if you believe she even knew about it and didn't step in, then you should find her guilty. So they then brought back a verdict of guilty, and Sarah was sentenced to death.
Oh.
Wow.
Interesting to note that no proceedings were ever instituted against Hickman, the man.
Oh, really?
Even though everyone's being like, well, yeah, he might have done it, But she definitely did it as well.
Yeah,
And
right.
half the jury has said, we believe it
We
was
thought
Hickman.
him, yeah.
And the judge said, even if so, find her guilty. So they did. And Hickman's walking free.
Yeah. And then no one ever...
Making toys.
Yeah.
Making rocking
Yeah,
horses.
exactly.
That's right.
I think the judge was like,
He's
I've got kids at Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't take
He's
that
of
down.
use, he's of use to society.
Whilst on death row, Sarah admitted to the murder,
Oh.
but never said whether Hickman was involved or had any knowledge of the plot. So we don't know if they did in fact conspire together.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say you would just tell if you were being killed anyway, but I suppose she didn't want him to die as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just my completely self-centered nature going, well, you're dying anyway. Why do you care what
Bring him
happens
down
to
as
him?
well. Yeah.
Take him with you.
Horrible.
She was publicly hanged in front of the Lewis County Jail on Saturday, the 10th of April, 1852, with an estimated crowd of 3,000 to 4,000 people watching.
my
on.
God.
Wow.
Isn't
Public
that
hanging.
absolutely
Yeah.
wild?
Oh, there is nothing I want to see less than that ever in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, I don't care who it is or what they've done.
No,
No, thank you.
No way.
Please no. But Sarah Ann French was the last woman to be publicly hanged in Lewis, which is still a prison today.
Wow.
But she was the last woman. That's a long
Yeah,
time ago.
long time ago, yeah.
Oh, wow. Is it last woman, not last person, though?
Yeah, not last person, but she was the last woman.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Hanged at that jail. And that is it. I'm afraid I've got no more information about what happened to Hickman afterwards, whether or not...
Well, seemingly nothing.
Yes,
I
he
reckon.
just got away with it if he was involved or moved on with the rest of his
Oh,
life.
my
if he wasn't.
God.
Was he in the crowd of 3,000?
He probably was.
God, imagine that.
That'd be awful, wouldn't it?
Masochistic shit right there.
Yeah. That would be such a... I don't know if a sad moment if you're about to be hanged, if you look out and see a loved one like that watching on, like is that supportive, or if you're like, I don't want them to
That's
see
such
this.
a good point, yeah, because if there's no one there, none of your loved ones supporting, that's really mean as well. Like, you're not even here to support me in my last moment.
Yeah.
You don't want to look out and see Santa Claus there.
No, you don't.
You don't want to see
that's
him
the
there.
last person you want to see, isn't
the
it?
last
Yeah,
person.
honestly,
Yeah.
What, Santa?
What's he?
Your last
What's
word
he
is
here?
Santa question mark.
Santa?
And I'm picturing it's the 1850s. I'm picturing it being like everyone's in grey.
Yeah,
and like the
yeah,
sky
yeah,
is
yeah.
grey, and it's just Santa in
Just
his
Santa.
red suit
Bright red.
in the crowd.
Oh, God.
Dave, thank you so much for bringing us that.
That is
amazing
amazing. How
story.
did you hear about this?
I'm not sure how I came across...
Oh, the pies.
It's because of the
You're
pie thing.
Googling
If I
pies.
can't remember if I Googled it or someone had said, you should look into this someday. And it's one of the things that's, I've thought about, looking into a bit further for a
it's
while now.
fascinating.
But yeah. And
I
it's-
must assume it is a law that I have placed on the podcast that I must bring up musical theatre at least twice. I assume you're a fan of Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd,
One of the great pie musicals.
the Demon Barber. I mean, I like it, but then I'm also like put off by the fact that, am I eating human in my pie? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's
quite
fiction.
Confronting.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
Thankfully.
I think
Not
it's
sure.
fiction.
Thankfully, we think so.
So we think.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Dave, thank you so much for coming on and telling us that story. It was
Thank you very
absolutely
much.
fascinating. How do people find you, Dave Warneke, if they want to look you up and look
Well,
up
they
your
can-
two podcasts?
Yeah, listen to Do Go On, the history one, or Book Cheat, where I tell people about classic books that I've read so you don't have to.
That's such a great concept. I
so
love
good.
that.
And it's also forced me to read over the years. So that's
Yeah,
sort of why I
totally.
started.
I replaced my Kindle yesterday. I lost it on a Jetstar flight, and I don't know why I lost it. It's probably all I needed to say. And that was like a year and a half ago. And I'll go back to old school books, which I love. I love reading a book. But the other day, it's the EOFI, end of financial year. EOFI. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to replace my Kindle. And I'm excited about it. And I just wanted to share that with
I
you.
love
all.
that. That's beautiful.
I love it too. Oh, I should mention I've got a stand-up quote-unquote special coming out.
Yes, yeah, how
At
exciting.
the end of July, I believe it's a Saturday, July 26th. It's debuting online
Great.
on YouTube.
On your YouTube channel? On what YouTube?
It's going to be on the Humdinger YouTube channel,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
a stupid old channel, which is run by Stupid Old Studios. They're rebranding their business as
Right.
Humdinger.
Yes,
So it's going
yeah.
up there. And on the same day, I filmed it back-to-back with my great mate from Do Go On, Matt Stewart. And both our shows are going up online on the same day. So
Oh,
That's
fantastic.
exciting.
enjoy us standing up there and telling it like it is.
Telling it like it is.
Sounded threatening for some reason.
That's how he is. He
No,
tells it like it is.
Very silly.
Very silly. Dave Warneke, you're an absolute treat. Never forget that.
Thank you.
You've been a hot crowd as well. Never
It's
forget
been
that.
a hot crowd.
Let's all go to Donovan's.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
you
Let's
have
go.
not stopped thinking about it this whole episode, have you?
Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.